Hello, Hana the Suburban Witch here, and today I am unboxing the Seasons of the Witch Oracle. This is the Mabon version, however you want to pronounce it, by Juliet Diaz and Lorraine Anderson. I'm going to be taking a look at the quality of the deck itself and the cardstock, the imagery, how it reads, and just overall thoughts on the deck itself. If you are new to my channel, I'm Hana the Suburban Witch, a professional tarot reader and astrologer and witch, host of the Witch Talks podcast, and also a psychic coach. I love teaching people to get in touch with their innate psychic abilities. I have a virtual class coming up on the 24th of May if you're in Australia, 23rd of May if you're in the Northern Hemisphere. And that is on how to be psychic. It's where I give you all of my tips or tricks to silence the Debbie Doubter within and know when it's your intuition and when it's your anxiety. There are limited live tickets available, but you can also access the replay. Jump on down to the description box below to get your ticket now. All right, we're going to get I don't even have to cut this open. It's got a little bit of a tear there. We're going to get straight into this today because it's like 12 past 2 and I have to leave at like 2:30 to pick my son up from daycare, which I'm technically supposed to pick him up at 2:30, but my family daycare is right next door. That's why every now and then you can hear him screaming in the background, but he's not actually here. I'm not ignoring him. All right, cool. So we have this deck here. I'm just going to say I'm a huge fan of Juliet Diaz. I love what she's doing. She has, if you didn't know, she has her own publishing company called Spiritbound Press, and I do know they are trying to raise funds at the moment. Now, this is not like affiliated in any way, shape or form, but I wholeheartedly love what they are doing. They are trying to increase diversity in the publishing space because it has just been weighted towards A, white people, B, white men, and C, neurotypical non-disabled people for far too long. So their publishing imprint is to radically change that, and I think that is wonderful. All right, so I'll actually pop a link to that as well if you want to read more about it and help them along their way. I 100% think we should all be backing a project like this that is going to positively benefit everyone involved. We all need more diversity in the books that we read, the decks that we use, everything. All right, so let's open it up. So it's a standard slip top box. I don't know if that's what it's called. It's not a flip top box. It's like a slip top box. My only thing with these is that if I decide to carry it around in my handbag or whatever, or go traveling with it, I have to put a hair tie around so that it doesn't come loose. But it's a minor thing. The box itself feels really sturdy and it's not too big. It's not too big, which I love. All right, popping that off. There we go. So first things first, we have a good sized guidebook. It's not too huge, but it looks like it's nice and thick, like we've actually got some info in there. And here are the cards. I can tell you they're going to be a little on the big side for me. And look at that paper, not plastic. Okay, firstly, can you see that? Oh, baby, that's gorgeous. I've been really loving orange lately, and for us here in the Southern Hemisphere, it is currently autumn, right? So it is autumny vibes, Mabon vibes. I mean, we just had Samhain, so I'm not really in tune with my recording and scheduling and everything being on time, but that's fine. I'm allowed to not be that anal about it all. That's what I tell myself anyway. I just get too distracted and forget when things are happening and to line it all up. Too much in my brain. Thank you, ADHD. All right, so the back of the cards is really nice. A beautiful full moon and some gorgeous crows. Lovely reversible, simple design. Very nice. The cards themselves, they're not too thick. They don't feel like they're going to bend too easily, as in get destroyed too easily. Let's do a little, should we do a shuffle test or should we go through them in order first? Let's go through them in order. So it often takes me way too much time to set the camera up over there and do it with the down thing and then all of that. So I'm just going to flip through them here. You won't get a ton of commentary because I can't see that well when I'm looking in like the little sample preview of my camera, but I'm going to flip through just so you can see all of the cards, and then I'm going to have a little look through off camera and I'm going to come back and have a little comment on a couple cards. That work? I'm sure you can tell they're quite glossy, so I'm trying not to let that get in the way of you viewing them. But as always, if you want to get a closer look at any of the cards, just comment and I'll pop up a short. Arms are getting tired. All right, so I've had a flick through myself. First of all, things that I love. Diversity in the illustrations. Now this deck was illustrated by Tijana Lukovic. Lukovic? I hope I pronounced that right. I'm not sure. They did the illustrations and they're beautiful. These are really gorgeous illustrations. I like that they're dark but bright at the same time. For example, this card is called Kitchen Witchery. It says abundance flows easily and effortlessly into your life. Be in gratitude. Again, the Oracle cards, I love that they're not just purely intuitive, like there's nothing written. You've got like a thing to kind of guide you, which always helps with an Oracle deck. But do you see what I mean? How the cards are dark but colorful. Like the colors are muted, they're autumnal or fall-ish. What's the autumnal version in American? Fall-ish. Like they've got those vibes. They're still bright, and they're not a dark card that feels ooh dark and scary. They're just dark as in like the days are getting shorter, right? And it feels cozy. It feels like a cozy deck. I also love all of the herbal associations in the cards. As a very big green witch, herbal witch, herbalist style person, here for it. For example, card number 1 is the Apothecary Cabinet. Then you've got this one, which is St. John's Wort and Marigold. I also love that there are men depicted in this deck because I think they are forgotten a lot about in Oracle decks. Obviously, the tarot is very heavily male-centered, but Oracle decks are often very heavily female-centered. And very rarely do we have non-binary depictions whatsoever. So that's one thing. I haven't had a good look. I don't see anyone that looks non-binary, but at least we have some men. And again, with the herbal or floral associations here, St. John's Wort and Marigold, if I see this, I don't need to read the guidebook. I don't need to do anything else other than know exactly what those herbs are used for. St. John's Wort is fantastic when used for things like depression. And Marigold is a wonderfully healing herb, flower, It's also a fantastic companion plant when you've got it in the garden. So it's really good at protecting the things around them. So automatically it gives me tons of information. I haven't even read what the card is saying. It says, against your will, there will not be, no entrance, no welcoming, be gone. Oh, and his hand is like a branch. So 36, let's have a read. Number 36. The guidebook is in colour as well. Here we go. Keywords: protection against dark forces, repels negative or unwanted energies. Some would say depression is a dark or negative vibe, negative energy. Protection against dark forces. When I said companion planting, marigold protects the plants around it from bugs and things like that are going to harm them. That's why you companion plant it around things. So it's, that is a wonderful intuitive reading. They even give some reversals here. So if St. John's wort and marigold should fall out of the deck reversed, it is a sign that someone is intentionally causing you harm. Someone may be spreading venomous gossip, sabotaging your work, going out of your way to make you feel small and unworthy. So I love that it has some reversal ones, which the backs of the cards are reversible. I generally don't read oracle cards reversed. It's just not something I do. It's not something I think they're really built for, but this one obviously is. And I appreciate the diversity in that. So there are 44 cards in total. I'm just going to give it a shuffle test. Because there's not many cards, it's pretty easy to shuffle, even though it is a little bit bigger. Okay, so I've said all the things I do like. What I don't like is that it's just a tad bigger than I would like in a deck. That is a personal preference. You might have big hands. You might enjoy that better. I kind of wish decks came in like 2 sizes. That would be wonderful. Also because my kids, like my daughter uses my decks a lot. She's 6. She can't shuffle anything. So then she just pours them on the ground and does the, oh no, and it just like kills me to watch that. And then it kills your cards too. Shuffling, I think because they're quite high gloss, they're a little sticky. That might ease with time. Sometimes I think as well, edging like this makes cards stick together a little bit. I don't know why. I have a couple of decks that are sticky. One is like a super matte deck. That's the Dark Mansion Tarot. And that's the stickiest deck I've ever had in my entire life. Hate that cardstock. And the rest are all, they've either got a very like thick edging. So I don't know if it's the card stock, if it's the edging. Maybe it's even just the size. I have to lift up quite a lot to get clear of it and let it fall. And when they fall a little bit chunky. So not great on the shuffle test. They spread all right. I do have a very slippery table here. A standard deck of cards, so a playing deck, my standard Rider-Waite-Smith, my Shadowscapes, all of those spreads wonderfully. My Thoth spreads wonderfully. I do find pretty much every other deck that tries to be a little bit more fancy in their cardstock, a bit chunkier. So really good to have a tarot cloth that you use, or I guess an oracle cloth. And it's 2:28, so I better wrap it up. Let's do a super quick reading. All right. What do I need to hear today? What is the advice? This one. Pomegranate. Dare to taste the unknown. Let it seduce your spirit awake. You will not believe. Pomegranates just come into season here. And last week I was like, I really want a pomegranate, but it was like just above. I have like a budget on my fruit and veg, and I'm like, pomegranates are like $8. I'll wait till next week. Maybe next week they'll go down. This week they were $7.50. I was like, I'll wait next week. So I'm obviously feeling even just a literal call to pomegranate, which has a lot of interesting menstrual aspects as well. And my period is like 2 days late. So perhaps maybe I need to go to the shops and just shell out for a pomegranate. But dare to taste the unknown. Let it seduce your spirit awake. Also have associations with lifting the veil, which we had Samhain this week. Veil is very thin right now. Let's see what the guidebook has to say. A couple of seconds. Keywords: lust, pleasure, seduction, forbidden fruit, and sexuality. Your higher self chose this card because you are ignoring the things that could show you the path to your purpose, to more rewarding relationships, and to unrealized talents or new ways to experience fun. See, I've just taken it literally. Go and eat a pomegranate. lift the veil. There is some debate about the fruit eaten by Eve in the garden. Encourages you to allow yourself to experience everything that is within your heart. Try new foods, take an unusual path to a familiar place, travel, speak to someone unusual, and do things that scare but also excite you. That rings true with some stuff that I did yesterday through a meditation. So I would say this reads really well. I have to go. Thank you for being with me here today. As always, please like, subscribe, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the deck. Do you use this deck or any of Juliet's other ones? And definitely go and check out her fundraising campaign that's going on as well for Spirit Bound Press. I'll catch you guys next time.